Why is everybody talking about Notcoin right now? I'm Brett at CryptoGX, and in this video, we're going to be going over Notcoin, what it is, why is everybody talking about it, and honestly, why this could be the next coin to be investing in right now. So let's jump in really quick. As you can see here on Binance Square, this is a site that I use to check trending topics in the crypto space. And as you can see right here, 24,000 people are discussing Notcoin. It's not the #1 topic based on the trending indicators that they use, but the most people are discussing this on Binance Square. Basically, it's similar to Twitter or X, but for crypto specifically. Now, I've done some digging. Notcoin is very, very attractive right now. Let's go over a little bit about what Notcoin is. So first, I'm going to pull up Notcoin on CoinMarketCap. The first thing that you should take a look at is this section right here with the website, socials, contracts. As you can see, it is on the TON network by this little icon right here. And if we pull up the Notcoin website on the ecosystem, it even tells you right here, Notcoin is based in the TON blockchain. So the TON blockchain is a decentralized layer 1 blockchain. It was developed by Telegram, and now it's maintained by an entity called the TON Foundation. They have interesting things that, we don't need to get into, things like dynamic sharding, high throughput, native services like TON DNS, TON storage, and integration with Telegram's ecosystem. All of those terms, feel free to look up. It's not important. They just have a lot of really interesting, highly technical blockchain features within that particular blockchain. And if you want to learn more about TON, we'll do a video about that, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. So now, what is Notcoin? As you can see right here, it features a gaming platform and a Web3 exploration tools, all here in the Telegram app. And you can click on this and it'll take you to the Notcoin bot where you can take a look at that. But that's, not a huge description of what this is. It's got things like games here. You can explore the rewards and things like that. But essentially, this was created by a team called Open Builders. It launched as a play to earn or tap to earn app on Telegram. And you can, tap this virtual coin to earn in-game tokens, which later would convert, 1,000 to 1 into tradable not tokens, which, as you can see right here, those are the rewards that they're talking about there. Now, if you click on the history here, they've got a funny tagline, probably nothing. The beta phase from December 31st of 2023. This animation then goes to a coin and you can click that, and that's the mining phase. It's a nice animated way to go through the history of Notcoin. But an important thing here is that 35 million people joined Notcoin within 3 months. The launch was in mid-May of 2024, so it's been around for quite some time at this point. You can keep scrolling and clicking through this animation to find out more background about Notcoin. But the last really important thing is that the supply was initially really large. They had about 100 billion Notcoins with 96% allocated to the community, which normally coins that are, like this, or really coins in general, will have a very large allocation to some sort of owner group or investors, or they'll have kind of a foundation fund where they'll retain some tokens that they can then release over time, just like XRP. They have particular XRP tokens that they hold and then will release over time, which then, changes the, kind of inflates or adds inflation to the coin. All to say, my main point with saying 96% allocated to the community is a very, very good sign of the coin, meaning a large majority by far of these coins are in the hands of the community, in the hands of the people, being freely traded so that the price of the coin can't really be manipulated by one central entity, which is very, very good when it comes to cryptocurrencies. We want it to be as decentralized as possible so it can't be controlled or, can't have inflation and things like that cause problems. So just to start, Notcoin has a great foundation just there, but we'll get into more right now with some specific posts that I found from Binance Square. So one of the first posts that I found that I thought was pretty interesting was going a little bit more over Notcoin. It was minted May 16th of 2024, well over a year ago. It has distributed over $220 million worth of Notcoins to millions of users throughout the tap to earn model that we were talking about before, which is a huge amount of money just for people playing a game, essentially tapping on this app. And now the interesting thing is it's entering phase 3 of its development. And, that's a big thing when it comes to big tokens. What are they building? What are they doing? How are they innovating? So in this phase 3, you can see users can now complete on-chain and off-chain missions to earn NOT and engage more deeply with the TON ecosystem. So on-chain and off-chain missions are pretty interesting. On-chain will get you to earn NOT rewards, and then being more deeply within the TON ecosystem. It's not specifying how, but obviously, in my opinion at least, diving more into a layer 1 ecosystem and having more usability is a good thing. We'll keep searching within this to find out more as to why that is the case. The other things here, they have a new way to get rewarded by helping real projects grow and interact with dApps. Essentially what they're saying is the Notcoin rewards are going to be more accessible by interacting with other games. And if we go back to the ecosystem here on the Notcoin website, these games are those projects and things that they want you to interact with and play with to earn the coins. They want more users on their platform, and they're giving more opportunities, more path to users to be on this platform. It's got interesting things like more mini apps and games directly inside Telegram, which I don't know if I mentioned before. Telegram, if you're not familiar, is kind of a chatting app that people can create bots and apps within. It's pretty interesting. It's very heavily focused on Web3, maybe not necessarily integration, which is a use case there, but also just Web3 centered use. There are Telegram groups where other people like YouTubers and stuff will have a group where they release their coin picks to people, and you have to pay for those. And I personally wouldn't recommend those, but there's lots of use cases for Telegram beyond just being a chatting app. And the last thing they mention here is that the Notcoin will now unlock early access, membership perks, and governance participation. So essentially you're getting bonuses for holding Notcoin. You get early access to things, there's perks, and then governance participation just means that when the coin is, or the project of Notcoin is planning on doing things or has ideas for things to do, changes to the platform itself, they will vote based on people who hold Notcoin. So the governance participation means that you will get a vote in what happens with this project, which is another huge thing when it comes to cryptocurrencies and decentralization and having it be democratic. All the people involved will get a say, and that's a core tenet of cryptocurrency, at least in most people's opinion, and especially mine. So next up is this post right here, which kind of puts all of that into a little bit more perspective. Phase 3 is turning NOT into a true utility token. So all of those things I mentioned is adding utility to this token, to this platform. All of these games and the interactions with Web3 on-chain development and having the ability to, like it says, do quests and earn NOT are driving users to be actually using this coin and interact with it in a useful way. This next part is what I really find a great way to explain it as, because it's having this boost to earn feature, which is another thing. You can support campaigns that interact with new decentralized apps or dApps and then get rewarded in NOT. But the way that they're talking about it right here, it's positioning it as a native incentive layer for TON. So essentially all of this is going to incentivize users to be interacting with this platform and this coin and all of these applications on that TON layer 1, or I guess on top of TON in a layer 2 platform. And that incentivizing users is huge for long-term growth. Now the last couple things here are really important too. The project launchpad note that they put right here, Notcoin is becoming a platform to spotlight new Telegram mini apps and games. So essentially, because they already have 35 million users and because they're adding this incentivization to their platform by earning Notcoin, it's giving you, and obviously it's built on Telegram, it's giving you a look at to what Telegram can do and what cryptocurrencies can do within that platform, and it's putting a lot of eyes on what they're doing and the things that people can build, such as games in this particular case. Now they talk here about the governance and early access and things, which we talked about already, but let's move on to our next point here. Now this post is titled, "When will Notcoin reach $1?" And if we go back to our coin market cap here, we can see that the price of Notcoin is 0.002205, so 20% of a penny, which is very, very small. It would be a huge increase for Notcoin to go to $1. That's why this is probably what I would call, engagement bait. That's fine. It's just so that you can take a look at what's really going on with the coin and what paths that this coin has for growth. Notcoin reaching $1 is kind of far ways away, in my opinion. But the one thing to consider with that is that the market cap of Notcoin is at $219 million right now, roughly $220 million as of recording this video. And that places Notcoin at number 196 out of the top cryptocurrencies in the world, which is, pretty far down when you really think about it. If you think about the top 25 or even the top 10 being Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, Solana, things like that, 196 is pretty far away, and the market cap is a great comparison of that. If we now go to the ranking of the top coins based on market cap, you can can see that Bitcoin is at $2.3 trillion. Ethereum follows far behind at $519 billion. And if we wanted to compare to something like even just Tana's at $8.7 billion. Now, the best thing to do to compare that is the actual multiple of times that Notcoin would have to increase to get to that valuation. So Notcoin would have to multiply almost 40x to get to the Toncoin valuation, which is sitting at the number 20 of the top cryptocurrencies as a whole. And we have similar coins, or at least things that are gaming based tokens like Sui, not a layer 2 token, but just as a comparison, there are gaming coins in the top 20. So Notcoin has room to grow. That's all I'm saying. Now, if we were to increase Notcoin to this valuation, 39.5 times its current value, that would bring Notcoin to 8 cents or 8.7 cents. So it would have to grow massively to get to $1. And I think honestly, it's pretty ridiculous to get to $1, but it can grow significantly. A 40x would be an insane return. But let's go back to this post and see what they're actually talking about when it comes to the growth potential generally of Notcoin. So it gives you a little background here. Then it shows a little bit of predictions for 2030. So 2030 is a pretty good timeline, in my opinion, for the growth that, they're talking about here. This is the high end of the range that they're talking about. And as I showed you, 8.7 cents was the high of that case right there. Notcoin right now is around 0.002, and they're only expecting it to go to 0.008. I was showing 0.087, which is much higher. This is much more realistic, which would be, about a 4x growth from now to 2030, which it could be even better than that. This seems pretty low when it comes to the bull case that they have. This is a very timid approach, in my opinion. We've got another expectation right here, 14 cents. That's kind of more in line with what I was showing, which was 8.7 cents. So all of these predictions are honestly what I would call BS. There's no way that I could possibly predict accurately what the price of this coin is going to be in 2030. But what this tells you, having this range of, let's call this 1 penny to the highest one I see here, I'm going to put that as an outlier, but really the highest being, let's say, 15 cents. Those are massive gains, 40x and above, which does happen with these smaller coins for sure, but it just gives you kind of a sense of, where you could sit. Now let's talk about the short-term growth. What is happening right now? What are the kind of technical indicators that are moving right now and where we could see it going during at least this bull run, at least, if not in the next coming weeks. So as we can see, we'll go back to the coin market cap of Notcoin and then go to, let's say, the last month. It's been moving pretty much sideways. And as you can see from percentage rate here, it's down 4%. And as you can see from our percentage rate here, over the last month, it's up 6%. It was kind of having a little bit of a downturn up until, the last couple days here, which is when this particular post was happening. So after weeks of slow bleeding, Not is officially broken out, and this isn't your average pump. So they're talking about this section right here, and it was from mid to late July down to beginning of August. It was going down pretty heavily, and it's broken out and broken above this last line of resistance here on late July 27th-ish, and it's moving sideways up near that line of resistance, and it's, basically hitting it as a support here. Now, this was the main point, a clear breakout above that particular line. There has been massive volume surging, which is confirming strength, and as you can see right here, the volume is on this bottom section right here, the 24-hour volume. Today, or in the last couple days, hitting around 36 million. During the lows, hitting about 30 million, 28, and across the lows, even over here, lows being of about 14 million. Since this breakout down, it was down about 25 million. Since this breakout, it's been about average above $30 million when it comes to the 24-hour volume of trading. Major supply zone filled to support is their next point. That was kind of that line of resistance and support that I was talking about that we're sitting above, as you can see right here. This was that last resistance point, and now we're going back and forth sideways here. Now they're talking about the next resistance. As you can see here, we go back to the chart. That's this top right here. That was the last time that Notcoin hit resistance in the last month. That's kind of what we're looking for not to break through. And that's the point that they're making right here. Break and hold above 0.003 is back on the table. So what we're watching for here with this sideways movement is a breakaway up to this particular resistance level. I'm going to move the cursor right here. I'm talking about this timeline, but just so you can see the line, these two tops right here, both hitting one after another, that's showing that this is a huge line of resistance. So when we get a breakaway up to the 0.003 0.024. It clearly goes past it is what we're looking for. Then it can probably go up to about 0.3. Hard to show on a yearly timeline, but probably mostly because of this line of resistance being hit multiple times over the past few months, and then the previous point being about 0.0044. So all of this to say, watch for Notcoin in the next, I would say, 30 days, even the next week or two, to see where this is going, because all of this movement happened within the last few days, within the last week. And this is the short-term outlook for Notcoin. But honestly, with all of these huge developments that they have, this huge use case and utility that they have, personally, I see this being a really strong ecosystem, especially being built directly on a layer 1 like Ton that's in the top 20, and being built on Telegram, which is an immensely widely used app with all sorts of games and rewards. 35 million users, 2.8 million on-chain holders. In my opinion, this is a fantastic coin to watch. And of course, this is not any sort of financial advice, but this is something that I'm going to be taking a look at whether or not to put into my portfolio for a long-term holding opportunity, because that 2030 timeline looks fantastic for Notcoin. Even a short-term gain when it comes to the current crypto cycle, which is likely ending sometime within the end of 2025. Keep an eye on our channel for videos regarding that. I have lots on the Bitcoin bull cycle and when we think it'll end, and price predictions and things like that. So make sure to like and subscribe. But let me know in the comments what you think of Notcoin. Honestly, this has massive implications for the crypto market as a whole, and it's not really seeing the price increase that I would expect based on all of this discussion about it and all of these really great developments for Notcoin. So I think this could be a coin that's early when it comes to potential price move upward. If you're interested in buying cryptocurrencies like this and others, I'll leave links to Coinbase and crypto.com in the description, where you'll get at least $50 of crypto just for signing up. And if you're interested in meme coins, I'll leave a link to MoonShot, where you'll get to claim some free meme coins just for signing up with that link. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to stay tuned for all things crypto. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.